Well, I think being misunderstood is one of the most beautiful things because then you can prove people wrong or, just show them a different side of you.
We're rolling? Okay. So why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us what you're about?
Well, my name is Rafael. I go by Raf.
For sure.
Pretty much I shoot video. I just capture anything that I think gets my interest or
For sure.
pretty much.
And you go by the name Rafnez. Where'd you get that name?
Rafnez. So literally it's just the first 3 letters of my first name and the last 3 letters of my last name just together.
Oh, sure.
So
Okay.
I was born on the 3rd and 3. I try to incorporate the concept of 3 in almost everything I do.
So we're in Chicago right now. How is Chinatown specifically? How is being born and raised in Chicago influenced your work?
I think Chicago's an amazing place, man. I'm from the South Side.
For sure.
So I have a lot of pride in that, and I think it was a cool experience, transitioning from high school. I went from not knowing anything on the north side to taking the train from Western Orange Line all the way to Irving Park Blue Line.
Yeah.
So it was a moment where it was the reality of seeing the difference between the South Side and the North Side of Chicago,
Right.
Good and bad.
Right.
One of the goods being, I think the North Side has the fashion locked down.
You go to Wicker Park and Pilsen, and you definitely see examples of that.
Exactly.
Stuff.
Wicker's definitely with RSVP,
Right.
St. Alfred, stores like that. Just being there is gonna be able to just see dope shit that you really wouldn't see on the South Side or.
Yeah.
But also the South Side is incorporated in my style, maybe more baggier clothes or
for sure. Definitely 90s
Mhm.
hip hop influence.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha. It's interesting you mentioned going to Irving Park because that's actually where we went to high school.
Yeah.
And back when I knew you, you had a huge project that you actually released some merch for it that I still have the T-shirt of for Formboy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about with the pink camo and
Exactly.
the 3. Yeah. So why don't you just tell us what Formboy is about and who were the members and what did they do and.
For sure.
Yeah, give us a rundown.
Formboy was basically a group me and my friends. It started with me, Louis, and Godwa.
Right.
And basically Godwa and Louis were the rappers, and Louis made dope designs. He would do he was sick with it with the drawings.
Yeah.
And that incorporation of I started learning how to do Photoshop myself, how to use Adobe Illustrator, and that really changed a lot for me. Once I learned how to basically whatever came up to my mind, I want to do this type of color under this type of text. It really changed the game for me.
For sure. And you just mentioned getting into Illustrator and Photoshop.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody's following your socials, they see that gravitating towards 3D animation, and
Yeah.
you have a very distinct style. And would you just recommend as a creative being as well versed as many mediums as you can?
For
And
sure.
If so, how does that help you?
Oh, for sure. I think that goes even with in just real life,
For sure.
If you know a little bit of everything, I think you can find just something to tap into with someone,
Right.
I went to, for example, I went to El Salvador, and I may find someone that is oh yeah, I'm from El Salvador, oh dope, let me talk about this, and it just correlates also with editing because if you know how to do 3D animation or stop motion, then you could like mix it and people would be like, oh snap, so we're going from stop motion to 3D animation. It's kind of like you're creating a world that people really haven't seen yet.
Right, of course. So now I want to kind of get into the specifics of your work. Like if anybody watches it or is familiar with it, they notice a very distinct style, which is a lot of like stop motion animation,
Yeah.
which you would think like would be characteristics of like a claymation film, but
Right.
you actually use it a lot in like your videos and photography. And I just want to like know, where did that style come from, and how did you kind of like find a niche in like a very oversaturated market?
Well, I'm obsessed, like as a child, I loved Robot Chicken.
For sure, yeah.
So I think Robot Chicken was like something so sick. Robot Chicken and Gumby.
And Gumby.
Like those are two, like I know Gumby was like my childhood, you know?
Right.
My mom, she would play that for me, and I think it was just like being able to see something that was, you could almost like feel the effort that like it just like came out of that movie, you know? Like, so like I think I wanted to make sure that whatever I did kind of incorporated like some sort of effort, or maybe like have people thinking like, how can I recreate that?
For sure, and I've noticed like a lot of there's definitely examples of like drawing inspiration from old cartoons like The Simpsons and Powerpuff Girls. Like if you look on the YouTube channel for Formboy, you see the Powerpuff Girl banner, and
That's great, yeah.
if you go down like in your history of Instagram, like you see like drawings of Simpsons.
Yeah.
So like, do you find yourself taking a lot of inspiration from like what your childhood and like things like that?
I've always said that if you find a way to like sell nostalgia,
Yeah.
you would be rich, you know? Like,
Right.
I think that is like what art really is this search of like, how can I capture my youth? How can I represent what I thought was cool to the
Right.
world? And I think that that's what I'm trying to do through my art is
Yeah,
like,
that's interesting that you mentioned that. Like, just the idea of like capturing a moment that other people share with you. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? When you belong to like a group of people who like follow a certain thing, to be able
For
to
real.
produce art and take your own take on it. Like, a lot of people appreciate that. That's smart. That's a good tip for like definitely people coming up. So you've collaborated with a bunch of artists, Godly the Ruler,
Yeah.
Olirarri, and a few other ones. But you've also done promotional work for the clothing store Half Evil, which
Yeah.
is pretty sick.
Yeah.
So do you find yourself like gravitating towards one specific like genre of content, or do you feel like you can conform to whatever you want?
I think my favorite is I like to work with people that trust me. You
For
know what
sure.
I mean? I think with my style of art, it takes a lot of trust.
Right.
Because I don't really do what's, I guess, trendy. I don't really like do what's like just really popular, you know? Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of want to like force people to like see a more like cinematic shot. I want to like force people to like understand that like I'm trying to do something here, you know?
Right. Like in the time we're living, it's like with social media and everything like that, it can become very easily as an artist
For
and
real.
creative to like become discouraged. It's like,
Last time we were talking about how like there was these trains and it's almost like they were like fighting with each other, like "Brah," and then there was one over here. It's like, what the hell? But like just going back on like the people that kind of like I take influence from is like people like Young Lean. Initially step one was Michael Jackson. To be
Right.
honest, like
Right.
besides like who he is, the person, whatever is like tied to him. Like I think we can like just talk about the entertainment and the music. Like it's just like he was brave, you know. Like regardless of like I guess how he felt, like he always wanted to give a show, you know. And
Yeah.
I wanted to be a showman, you know. So I took inspiration from Michael Jackson, and then like Marilyn Manson, his confidence too, you know. That guy, he really don't care. He'll do anything, you know.
No, for real.
So I just like people that have confidence, you know, and just have the confidence to like put themselves out there and like put their vision out there. But yeah, I'm glad I'm able to just like, dude, like document like all this, like kind of my thoughts, you know, because
Yeah.
I'm really into that, you know. Like I write a lot, like diaries, I guess.
Oh
you
yeah,
know
no,
what I
fuck
mean?
with
Like
that. No, I feel that. Yeah.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid type shit, I guess. You
For
know?
sure.
What's the importance of that? Like, what does that do for you?
It just helps me. Sometimes like an iPhone or like a screen is very limiting, you know. Like I
Right.
think we live in the day and age where it's like we think technology is what we need, but sometimes a pen is gonna allow you to like go right, go left, go up, go down. You know, like
Yeah.
you can't do stuff unless you have an iPad Pro, I guess. You know what I mean? But
We're gonna be collaborating with a local Chicago graffiti artist
that's it.
on this next drop. So yeah, hopefully.
Oh
it's-
yeah, I
it's
love
pretty good.
graffiti. So that's
Yeah.
really like actually, I'm Spider-Man right here. He's doing graffiti.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's
Ali
great
Six,
task.
you know Ali Six?
I do not know.
He does like raccoon characters in Chicago, like and he actually did this for me at one of his art gallery shows. This was my first tattoo.
Oh, decent.
This Spider-Man. It ties in with kind of like nostalgia and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Nice.
it's kind of like his senses are up. You know what I mean?
Is this a Mario Dessa piece?
No. But it's I got it. It was man. I forgot. D minus. His name is D minus. Yeah.
Sweet.
Super dope guy. Yeah.
So, friends of yours know, like, going to high school that you used to hustle out for Juggernaut, passing out flyers.
Yeah,
at
that's crazy.
clothing store near Grant Park for our viewers that don't know what that is. And, like, is that something you've always been about, like, working with local Chicago artists and, like, kind of, like, getting into that realm and, like, establishing those connections? Like,
I think that started more in high school.
for sure.
Yeah, like once I hit high school, it was more like I started finding out about like local Chicago brands and Juggernaut. That's crazy that you bring that up.
Yeah.
But Juggernaut was like one of my favorites. I think what I really liked about them was that when I first walked in there, like of course I was wearing like none of their merch, right?
Right.
I wasn't wearing anybody's merch.
Yeah.
And they still treated me like with so much respect. They're like, hey man, this is this section, and if you need bigger sizes, like
Right.
I think it was just that like initial like interaction
Right.
was really what got me hooked.
For sure, yeah. And like I was just gonna say, like when you think of like big Chicago like videographers, like obviously like Cole Bennett comes to mind.
Yeah.
And like he seems to like kind of very stick to like a formula when
Right.
making his videos and a
Definitely.
very like one specific genre of music.
I think like Sam, he has it tattooed on his hand. Sam is the owner of Half Evil. He says
Yeah.
your comfort zone will kill you, or something
For
along
sure.
those lines. And it's like it's true, like I think if you find like a comfort zone, like or something that feels like really good, or a formula that is really working, I think it's normal to like want to stick to it, you know?
And just not.
Yeah, but I think change is scary, and I think what scares people is really what stands out.
Where do you want Rafnez to be at in 5 years?
Rafnez, I want that to be definitely like maybe doing short films, more incorporated on short films. Maybe like I really wanna, like I said, represent my South Side community. Like
Right.
show like that there is a lot of culture that comes from the South Side. And I think there's a lot of misunderstandings sometimes. And I think that's beautiful. I think being misunderstood is one of the most beautiful things, because then you can prove people wrong, or just show them a different side of you. And
For sure.
that's dope.
Okay, cool. One last thing before we go. I'm gonna plug some socials for the camera so our viewers can check you out.
Well, Rafnez, that's on everything. Instagram, YouTube. Yeah, just check that out, and I'm pretty active, and we'll update that. So.
Appreciate it, bro.
Dope.
Nice talking with you.